What is up, guys? Jake here with the next Vainglory beginners video, and this one's going to be about the jungle. Now, this is an updated video. We've done one of these before, but given that all the changes in the jungle, I mean, it had to be updated, it had to be changed. And we're going to break it into pretty much two categories, your support role and your jungle carry or just jungler role, whatever you want to call it. So first things first, let's talk about the support role. I think it's one of the most messed up roles in the game, probably. So we will talk about that, about how I feel that you should, play the support role and what your main duties are. And then from there, we will just go to the jungle aspect of it and just talk about a little bit of strategy in general. Now, the first thing you need to know as a support role, and it's strange enough, there's people out there that still do not understand how this works, and that is how an Iron Guard contract works. It will be the first thing you buy every time, and it's right here. So let's actually read it and think about what it's saying and what it means to us as a jungle support role, or as just support role in general. Passive: when a nearby ally kills a minion or monster, you earn 75% of the bounty as gold. Now, what that means is we've talked about it before, that last hits are everything. So the last hit on the minion, that person gets the gold, etc. They get the vast majority of the experience. But this is going to allow you to let your jungler take all of the last hits, and you're still going to get paid 75% of that total gold as bonus gold. You're not taking 75% of his gold, it's extra gold, okay? If that monster has attacked you, you heal for 120 health, and your ally also earns a 30% gold bonus. So essentially what they're telling you is you should always let your jungler get the last hits. Now, the way it should work, you should come down, you should take a hit on the minion, and then help it start getting low, and then from there, just sort of kite it around or just walk around like this right here. Just tap back and forth and still tank the minion for him. You don't want your jungler taking all those hits. You want to sort of take him yourself and let him kill it, because once it dies, and I don't have someone with me to help me here, but once it dies, you're going to get a heal, you're going to get gold, he's going to get gold. It's going to be good for everybody. So make sure you're hitting him first and letting him take those last hits. Now, there are times when you will want to let your jungler kill that minion that I just did right there all by himself. That gets into hyper leveling, things like that. But forget about that for now. This is a beginner's guide. We'll get into that later and talk about it in other videos. But that's what you want to do in general, is take the first hit, weaken them up a little bit for him. Make sure that they're where he can handle them. He can take them down quickly because you want to clear it quickly, and then just walk away. Just let him hit those two last, take the hits. You're going to get the gold from it. You're going to get, a heal from it. It's going to heal you back up, so don't worry about taking a little bit of damage. It's all fine, and you're going to be in good shape. So there you go with that, guys. Let's do this. Let's roll in a video of this taking place. You'll see a little bit about how it should look, and then we'll come back and talk more strategy as far as vision and early fights and things like that. All right, as you can see here, I'm the support in this scenario. I'm Arden. I'm buying up a contract, I'm buying a potion, and I'm buying a flare. And this is how it should look pretty much to the start now. You're going to see Braden take on the first minion all by himself, and that's just about power leveling and trying to get him to level 2 before we get to the store. You don't have to do that, especially as a beginner. You don't have to do that. These minions are very strong right now in the game, and if you're not comfortable with it, you can still do it. I waited a moment for him to get it low, then I started hitting and taking out these bottom minions, and then I get them hit down a little bit, and I walk away. Another thing is trying to get a little bit away right there at the start to where they can get a little extra experience. So that goes down, grab the third one, and here it goes. He's going to take that down. I'm already going down to the store, skipping the fronts, flaring the bush, and buying up and ready to fight. So that's how it should look right there, guys. All right, there you go. That's in a nutshell how it should look, guys, and that's just a repeating, reoccurring thing, okay? So just do that over and over. Everyone gets gold, everyone gets leveled up. Now, let's see. The other thing I want to mention as a support role is stick with your jungler unless you're coming up to support because you're coming up to support your laner. There's lots of things that you can do to come up and help him out if he's they're starting to try to gank him, things like that. But you guys don't know how many times I've seen a jungler or a support role take off on his own, and he's going to go steal the backs of the enemy team. If your jungler's not going with you and you think it's time to go back there, be the bigger person. Make the decision to say, okay, even if he's making a wrong decision in your eyes, go back, stick with him, stick together. You guys are hearing me say this a million times. Stick together. You're going to have a lot better outcome, a lot better chance of victory if you do that. Now, the thing that I feel like we need to talk about at this point is vision. And one thing, I'm going to just call back to the start of the base. When people, even when you start the game, okay, completely brand new to the game. I'm not going to sell my items here, my boots, because I want to be able to move faster. But right here at the very start, when you can buy your contraption, your iron guard, at least one of the other 2 items that you can buy with the extra 50 gold needs to be a flare. Okay, and I'll show you why. As you come down, you get into the jungle, you clear your jungle, and we're just going to sort of walk through it like we're pretending we're clearing it. You clear your jungle, everything's looking good. You clear that, you clear the backs, you move your way up, and now you've cleared your middle, and now you're heading towards your fronts. Now, this is the danger zone, okay? There's a lot of places people can lurk and jump out. They can be hiding in this bush waiting to gank you. A lot of things. Use that flare. A lot of times, the best place to do it is just walk over, drop it like right there. You're going to be able to see. You can face check this bush, see if they're over at the shop, see if they beat you to the shop. Getting to the shop first is a big deal, guys. If you get here first and you buy up, there's a good chance that you can bully the enemy team in the jungle early game, especially if you have an early advantage. And you need to know that. As a support role, you need to know who's got the early advantage. You need to learn about the heroes. You need to think about it. If you've got a Kashka, obviously you've got an early game advantage. If you've got maybe a Kestrel or a Sky, you've got an early game advantage over most heroes. You can literally walk into their jungle at level 2 and if you beat them to the store and take what they've got, you can go straight to their backs. They're going to have to run away or you will take them out. But you have to know that. Know if you have a disadvantage. If you have a disadvantage, you need to provide that vision and get out. Avoid that early game fight. If you engage, you're probably going to die. If you've got a CP jewel early game in the jungle and the enemy team has a Kashka, you don't want to fight them. You want to run away. I mean, I know that's a strange thing that sometimes when you're into mode, we have to fight. No, you can run away, and you need to run away, or you're just going to die, and they're going to take your jungle. So make sure you're providing vision even on the game. But even past that, guys, buy scout mines, buy flares, place them in strategic locations, and let's talk about those just a little bit. A good place is always right here. People do check it a lot, but this is a good spot for a scout mine right there. That is going to allow you to, and maybe even like right here would be a good spot. That's going to allow you to see in this bush. And what you realize is that a scout mine offers you some vision. Let's just put one out here in the open so you'll see what I'm talking about. Offers you vision farther away than just that green radius. The green radius is when someone will step on it and it'll start to detonate. It'll trigger. But if someone's hiding in a bush, just for argument's sake, pretend that we're in a bush right now, you can see them in a pretty good radius around that. It exposes them. They can't hide. So scout mines are not always, a lot of people use them for that, but scout mines are not always about placing them where someone's going to step on them and take extra damage, although that is effective, but also placing them in locations where people might not step. You'll see a lot of times people place a scout mine up here that allows you to have vision on the gold mine or on the Kraken if it's later in the game, and it's unlikely that anybody will step on it and trigger it unless they're looking for it. So remember that. But another thing is flares. So many times, especially late game, you'll be walking up to a bush. Okay, let's go see where they're at. And if they're hiding in this right here, waiting to ambush you, the ambush in the initiation of a fight, of a team fight, is very important. And if you know that for $25 or 25 gold, you can drop that flare and see if they're there. All right, so keep flares on you. One of the most important things you can do as a support role is keep flares. Maybe scout mines. I prefer flares actually over scout mines. I try to get some scout mines, put them in good spots, but then I buy flares. That's what I do. You keep a slot open for them. You keep them, and before you and your team enter a bush, you flare it. It's that simple. You make sure you don't get ambushed. It's going to save your team's life many times. I promise. Another thing that you need to do as a support role, when I talk about I do place some scout mines or try to place some scout mines, is take care of your laner, guys. Try to come up here. Definitely have a scout mine in this bush nearest him so people can't come in this back door. But try to keep a scout mine over here. What this does is prevent him from being ganked. If he's up here in the lane and he's doing his thing and maybe he's pressing a little bit farther forward and that scout mine's there, once this enemy team enters this bush, gets about right here, he can see them and, oh, I got to get out of here. I got to get back. So it will save your laner's life. So be that guy that does help him out. And you're gonna, it snowballs. It's this snowball effect. If you save him from one death, maybe he gets that much more farm. Maybe that because of that farm, he gets another item that just tips the scale in that next team fight and things like that. We talked about the butterfly effect a lot of Clash of Clans, and it's the same thing here, but a lot of times we refer to it as snowball. So make sure as a support role, you are providing vision for your team. Period. The end. No excuses. I hate when I see a support role come down and, it's a Catherine. The first thing she builds is an aftershock, and then, she might build some boots or something like that. But your job is to support the team. Support the team. Another thing is you, as a support role, you need to get one of these two items, Contraption or Warhorn. Now, depending on your play style, some people just love to go Contraption and place those scout mines everywhere. That's fine. It helps. But depending on, you need to learn to base that decision off of the enemy team you're facing. If they have a very mobile team or someone that's in the back like a Vox that's very hard to get to, that you need to really try to get through that front line and get back there to that guy, maybe a Warhorn's the better choice. And when all of a sudden when the fight breaks out, you pop that Warhorn, and now your jungle and laner can really get to him quickly, delete that hero, and change the fight that way. So try to base it. If you're going up against the Taka, yeah, you want to get Contraption. You want flares all the time. You want scout mines everywhere, every bush on the map, to where he can't get away from your team. When they start putting that damage on him, you can get him. So you have to just learn to figure that out on your own. Real quick, this is a beginner's guide, so let's look at Contraption. If you were to go that way, it's an item down here on the bottom left of your screen. You'll see right here. That is your Contraption, and what that does is gives you scout mines and flares. Now, if you want to drop a scout mine, you click on it right there. You see me tapping on it. This huge circle is going to come up. That's the radius of where you can drop a flare. Now, if you tap on yourself or just right next to you, you'll see right there it does drop a scout mine. But I click that button again, and it gives you 3 charges, and those charges refresh. If I want to throw a flare up in this bush, I just simply tap up in this bush. I just tapped right in this area, and it's going to use a flare. So it sort of knows what you want it to do. Every once in a while you'll screw up on it, but it's not bad. It's a pretty good system. So if you get Contraption, remember that is the way it works, and you still want to use that pretty much all the time. Let's see here. All right, the other thing about support roles is, guys, get support items. I see so many times people, you'll have a match and the support guys will get an Aegis. That Aegis does nothing for your team. It's just for you. It's a selfish item. The items you want to get as a support player are either Crucible, Fountain, or not Metal Jacket, or Atlas Pauldron. Never get a Metal Jacket, never get an Aegis. And that's a period. There is no circumstances that call for an Aegis or a Metal Jacket on a support player. Your 3 items are Crucible, Fountain, and Atlas. That's your home. That's where you live. Now, most situations, almost every situation, I recommend getting a Fountain first. It's going to save your team in those team fights. They start getting low, you pop it, and you go from there. Crucible is great against, an Arden or like an Adagio, something that you can they really telegraph their ultimates, and you can save your team from there. But before the end of the match, you probably want to have both a Crucible and a Fountain. Get your Vision, get your Fountain, get your Crucible. If you're going against a heavy weapon power team and you're dying and you need some armor, it's fine to buy some armor. There's times when Atlas Pauldron needs to be prioritized. If you're going against a Cruel or a Saw or somebody with a lot of attack speed, get that Atlas Pauldron early. It could have changed some of those team fights as well. That is pretty much it for the support role, guys. It's all about supporting your team. It's all about providing that vision. Just be an unselfish player, and you're going to be a good support player. So let's switch over heroes. I will back out and grab a jungle hero, and we will talk about that role. All right, guys, as a jungle carry or jungler, whatever you want to refer to it, your job is to do damage, obviously. Clear minions, get gold, fight the enemy jungles. And to that end, you want to focus on damage early. Get yourself damage items. It's fine to buy a tier 1 defense, and if you need that, if you're having early team fights and they've got a lot of damage and you want to grab that. But in general, you want to have early game damage over defense. It's just more powerful. Now, the other thing is, just like I talked about on the support role, stick together. You have to stick together. This is one of the most biggest mistakes. You see people separate. You decide you want to come over and check their fronts, but your support role is not there, and all of a sudden you get jumped on 2-on-1 and you're dead. Stick together, move as a team. Hopefully your support is providing you vision, as we talked about previously. If he's not, it's rough. But don't be face checking bushes. Play it smart and stick with your team. Now, besides clearing your jungle, which is obviously your job, and fighting off the enemy team, which is your job, rotate up for ganks. It can make a big difference. Even if you don't get the actual kill, you run out, maybe you just put some good damage on them. That can change. It's like, it goes back to the snowball effect or the butterfly effect. It can change things. It can make it easier for your laner to farm up, and the next team fight, he's got that extra item that he might not have had if that laner up there was giving him trouble and he couldn't farm up. So don't think you're delegated just to the jungle. You are able to move up. You are able to help out up there. Now, don't take his minions. Don't go up there and start, I see that all the time. People come up and they start fighting in the lane, or a fight breaks out, and then before they leave, the jungler says, "Okay, I'm just going to take all your minions," and then leaves. That does a lot of different things. If you watch and they all hurt your laner. If you watch the lane video, it pushes the wave forward, where it makes it much harder for him to farm his minions. He might be trying to freeze it back on the backside. He might not want you clearing those minions. It takes his gold. It makes it harder for him to farm. Leave his minions alone. It's fine if they're beating on your turret and you're trying to defend the turret. That's a situation. Take all the minions you need to. But don't go up there in a fight or just trying to help him protect the turret and start taking his minions. That absolutely, you might think it's helping you, but it's not. It's hurting you because it's hurting your team. It's making it harder for him to farm up. He's going to be less effective in team fights. And in the long run, it's actually hurt you all around. So don't do that. You do still have to protect turrets. If you're down here farming and all of a sudden, oops, my laner just got ganked and they're all three up in the lane, you have to rotate up and help protect that turret. A turret is more important. Not losing a turret is more important than you grabbing those last few minions and farming up. So make sure you keep an eye on that lane. Help your laner out. Don't go up there and save the turret. It's a big deal. If you are in the jungle, okay, and you notice that maybe your laner's playing it pretty conservative. He's not in any danger, and he is up there, and you see that the rest of the team is up there, but you're down here at the shop. Invade silently, okay? Try to sneak back, go straight to their backs, ignore anything else, and if they're there, take them out and then get out of dodge, all right? A lot of times you can sneak back here, you can grab these minions, come around the side here, and just boom, call back. They're going to probably, if they got vision there, they might see you. They might just be in their normal rotation back down. Don't linger. Don't hang around. Get those back minions and then leave. Get out. Try to get back to just doing your thing, farming up or helping your team out in the team fight, whatever's there. But keep an eye out for that. Sneaky junglers can make a big difference because all of a sudden they get done up there messing around the lane and they go to check their backs. Oh, they're gone. You just got them and you're already back at your backs, farming them up, getting ahead on gold and making your team that much stronger. We touched on it earlier. Know if you're at an early game advantage or disadvantage. Know your hero. Know the heroes that you're playing against. If you are on a Kashka, you need to be invading early. She falls off. This game is all about power spikes and knowing when to attack and when not to. If you are on a early game hero advantage, and if it's a tie and it's close and you just don't want to fight, fine. But if you have that early game advantage, press it. If not, why are you picking that hero? Because most heroes that are strong early game tend to fall off at least more than other heroes do late to mid game. So if you've got that advantage, press it. Go into the jungle. Try to get that buy before they do, and try to take them out. But that's your job to know. Don't be trying to take that course of action if you actually are a weaker early game hero. If you're on a Taka, and you're playing against a Kashka, probably don't want to invade. She's going to whip you. She's going to win that fight, so just don't do it. Minion miners, what I just killed there, this is a big change that happened in the last update, and I want to touch on it because it really does matter a lot about the game. Now at 4 minutes, there's no disadvantage to you taking that minion mine. The minions do get stronger now, but they do not provide the enemy laner more gold, and they do not push the wave any faster. So the laner is able to still freeze the lane or anything like that if he wants to. So taking it is not a disadvantage. Now, a lot of times you will see people still waiting to take that until 8 minute mark, and that's when it maxes out on gold. So if you want to wait and your team wants to wait, fine, but don't let anybody freak out on you and ping you to death or whatever. All you're doing is taking it a little early, a little bit extra gold that you could have had, but you know, it's sort of like a savings account. It's just sitting there saving. If the enemy team is strong and they're invading a lot, I do recommend taking it early because they can sneak in, take that gold, and take it out. Now, another thing is, let's say you get in a team fight and you win. I definitely recommend taking the enemy's minion mine, because again, you're taking that gold from them, especially if it's like late game and they've let it sit there and it's built up a little bit. Take that from them, but you need to make sure that you're in sync with your laner before you take both minion mines. Because now, as you see here, when I have both minion mines, now the minions are stronger versus everything else. They're stronger versus other heroes. They will push the lane faster. It will change everything. So make sure that your laner's on the same page and that you're ready to push the lane before you take two of them. But don't feel like you have to let that sit there. If you need the gold, if you're behind, maybe you got beat in a fight, they took your jungle, and you need that extra gold to catch up and fight again, go ahead and take it. No big deal. Guys, that is pretty much it. Again, this is a basic beginner's guide. We're not talking about in-depth stuff and how to do it, but just follow these tips, and it's going to help you be a little bit smoother in the jungle. Everyone's going to get the XP and the gold spread around a little bit more evenly, and you're going to be a little stronger team for it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Until next time, Jake, doing my best to help you guys suck less.